Hello. I don't know why I said that. Okay, so I just graduated from my master's a couple months ago, and since then I've been unemployed, on the job hunt, and at the age of 25 I have moved back in with my parents, which was not the plan. It was not what I was hoping would happen, and it's gotten me kind of down, but I also know that I'm absolutely not the only person in this situation in today's economy and job market and housing market. So I want to talk about it. So a little about me. I honestly didn't enjoy my undergrad that much, but by the time I got to my master's, I felt like I found a program that I was really passionate about, like something I really care about and want a career in. And so I was like working really, really hard all the time, super involved in the program and the community. I was like doing school full-time, working part-time to pay for school because it was very expensive, and also doing like volunteering and mentorship and all this extracurricular stuff on the side. So all that to say, I was like really, really, really busy for the past 2 years. I remember this past fall, for example, between school and work and like extracurriculars and all that, I was busy between like literally 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 5 to 6 days a week. Like it was constantly go time. Like I was so busy. And so going from that really insane busy schedule to then finishing school and then also finishing my work contract a couple weeks later was literally going from 110% to 0 in a matter of weeks. And because that change was so drastic, I feel like it's kind of hit me pretty hard. Like it kind of gave me whiplash, and I've basically had nothing to do except for search for jobs since then. And then compounding that, a bunch of random stuff happened like between my personal life and then like my housing situation that made it so that I then had to move back with my parents in the meantime. So I've moved back out to their house, which is in the suburbs, so it's like away from my friends, away from my social life, away from like a lot of the things that young people might do in the city that I live in. And so like that, and losing school and my job at the same time, and the fact that the only thing I have to do every single day is search for jobs, and the market is so incredibly bleak right now, has been pretty depressing. And then of course, because I've moved back in with my parents, as great as that is in a lot of ways, and I'll get into that, I have also lost a lot of my independence. So like I'm used to living on my own and being completely financially independent and getting my own groceries, cooking my own meals, doing like all the housework on my own. And of course I've lost a lot of that coming back home, which is good in many ways, but it is also definitely an adjustment, especially now that I'm going into my like later 20s. And then the last thing I was thinking about is that I've really been like dreaming about what I want my first big girl job and like my first apartment and like my young adult life as a professional to look like. Like I've been making Pinterest boards and like journaling and manifesting and like making lists mentally about like, oh, when I have my apartment, like I want to host this kind of dinner party, or like have this in my apartment, or like do this at work, or like wear this kind of outfit, or have whatever, right? But I can't actually get started on any of those ideas until I get a job. So until then, I'm just kind of like in limbo. Basically, I realized that I've been finding myself like multiple days in a row, maybe even weeks on end, just constantly refreshing LinkedIn and job boards and career websites and looking for apartments, even though I can't even be doing that yet, just all day, every day. And then yesterday, it just hit me. I was like, whether I'm refreshing these pages 278 times a day or 2, I'm gonna see the same opportunities and I'm gonna have the same chances of either getting the job or being ghosted forever, which is probably more likely. So like I might as well not waste my entire day just depressingly refreshing LinkedIn. I should be thinking of all the reasons why I can be grateful of this like little time in limbo, this little blip in my life or whatever, and making the most of it. And so that's what I want to talk about and like kind of put my thoughts together on. I've made a couple lists. So firstly, I wanted to think about like all the things that there are to be grateful with moving back home and being unemployed right now. The first thing is that I'm living rent-free. I have very little financial responsibility right now, and that's such a privilege. Like, yes, it's not what I wanted to be doing, but even other people who are post-grad and they're unemployed and they're looking for work don't have the option to move back home. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm also really grateful that both of my parents are alive and they're both living together in this space, so I get to spend a whole lot of time with them. I know that maybe one day down the line that won't be the case, and I'll be like really wishing for this time and reminiscing on it. So just thinking about that makes me like really grateful for my current situation, but also makes me want to like make a little more effort to spend quality time with them and not just like be in the house and like randomly talking about like cat's eye or something. Actually, maybe that is quality time. I don't really know. The third thing I wrote down is that I'm really grateful that I get to eat my mom's cooking like every single night. I know like when I moved away for school in the past, especially when I was like farther away for undergrad, that was something I really missed. I was like, some of the foods I grew up, like I just can't make it the same. So I know I'll miss it again in the future, and I'm really grateful that in this exact moment, this little time in my life, like I'm able to enjoy my mom's cooking very regularly. And then the last thing I just thought of this morning, but I'm really grateful that we have air conditioning because growing up we didn't have air conditioning. We always lived in like rental apartments and townhouses and like all these places that didn't have AC, and they would get so unbearably hot in the summer. And with climate change, like it's even hotter now. And I think part of why I've been bored is that we've literally had so many hot days and like heat waves where it's been over 30 degrees and over 40 degrees. And so to like preserve my health and my sanity, I've been spending most of the day inside in the AC, in my room, refreshing LinkedIn and Facebook Marketplace. But like the fact that I get to be in my room hiding from the heat is such an amazing thing that I'm really grateful for. So once I got all my little gratitude written down and in a list and I held space for it, I decided to like then make some lists for like what I actually want to do to make the most of this experience and of these things that I'm grateful for. So I made 3 lists. The first 2 I called my improvement list and my summer list. And these are like big overarching lists of like things that I want to make sure I do before the end of the summer or like before the time I move out, whenever that is, hopefully in the next few months. So for my improvement list, I called it that because it's things that I want to do to like improve myself and like improve my situation before I move, like getting ready for moving basically, along with a couple tasks that are like things I've wanted to do but I was way too busy to get done during grad school. So first on the improvement list is I want to sell and donate my extra clothes. So growing up, I was like super, like we didn't have much money and I was very, very frugal and cheap. I would like get clothes and wear them until I absolutely couldn't wear them anymore, and I didn't have that many of them. And like my friends knew this about me. Even in undergrad, I was wearing my clothes from like middle school and high school. Like it was ridiculous. And I still am wearing some clothes from high school to this day. But near the end of undergrad, I got my first clothing retail job, and then I worked a couple after that, and I feel like that kind of changed the game because I had like my employee discount and I would try to like dress up for work a little bit and stuff. So I got a lot more into fashion, and now that's like a hobby of mine. I like to like, I love a cute little outfit, like putting something cute together and like getting nice clothes. Not that I have that many because I'm not into consumerism like that, but I also don't have money like that, but it does mean that I have some extra clothes in a bin over here that I've recognized I need to donate or sell because they don't fit me or I don't wear them anymore or whatever, but I haven't done it yet. And I definitely want to do that before I move because I don't want to have to deal with all that stuff. So that's first on the list. That was a huge tangent, but there we have it. The next thing is that I want to restring my violin. This is going to be another tangent. So one thing about me, I grew up playing classical violin. I was an orchestra kid growing up. I was in youth orchestra. I went to an arts high school. It was always a huge part of my life. And I would say it's still a big part of my life, even though I don't play very often anymore. And a big reason for that is that 2 Decembers ago, so like around a year and a half ago, my A string snapped. Like it broke, it was too old, and I've needed to replace it. I need to actually replace all the strings, but I just didn't have time with grad school to like book an appointment and bring it into the shop and like get all new strings and then ask the people like, hey, I used to know how to restring my violin, but like I don't really remember anymore, can you help me? I didn't have the time, but you know what, I have the time now and I still haven't done it, so that's on my list. I promise the next ones won't all be tangents too. The third item is to organize the bins that I have in this house. So because this is my parents' house, there's random like boxes and bins that are full of just like random stuff from my childhood and my teenage years, and like I don't even know what's in there, but I haven't been able to like sort through them and like get rid of stuff or like organize them because I haven't been living here. And so before I move out, I want to take advantage of the fact that these things are like in the same space as me and organize them. I also want to organize my room here because I feel like it's not really set up optimally for like living in long term. My parents moved here after I had already moved away to undergrad, so I've only really been here for like holidays and like shorter stints and things. I feel like it's just not really fully set up properly, so I want to do that. just to make the best of my time here. And then the last thing is I want to learn how to make miso soup. This is very specific. So I'm half Japanese. My mom has made miso soup for us growing up, my entire childhood, my entire life, but she doesn't use a recipe. It's like the way that her mom taught her how to do it. And I have never made it before, but I know that if I follow a recipe or like go to a restaurant, it will not be the same flavor. So I want to like make her teach me how to make her miso soup before I move out. And that's my improvement list. All right, so moving on to the summer list. This is just like fun things that I want to do before the end of the summer. So the first thing on my summer list is to go on a hike with my friend. So one of my friends from grad school basically told me that she loves to hike, and I also love to hike. So we've been like, oh my god, we need to do a summer hike together, but we haven't planned it yet. We haven't done it yet. And like I said, there have been tons of heat waves. Like it hasn't really been right for that yet, but we do need to make it happen. So that's on my summer list. Secondly, I have a birthday picnic. I've never really done stuff for my birthday. Like when I was little, I had birthday parties and whatnot, but my birthday's in the middle of the summer and I'm always like, oh, I don't know, like everyone's on vacation, we can't really do anything. And I just like have a chill day with my parents or something. But this year I put it on my vision board that I wanted to do something with my friends for my birthday. So my plan is to invite like maybe just a few friends, like something small, and have a picnic, but not just any picnic. I made a Pinterest board. It's gonna have a theme. It's gonna be really cute, but I actually have to plan it because that's coming up fast. So that's on my list. And then the third thing on my summer list is actually happening next week. I'm super excited. I'm doing a little solo 2-day trip to Montreal, and specifically I'm going to see an Olivia Dean concert, which I'm like so excited for. But because I'm going for like a couple days, I also want to plan some little other things to do in Montreal when I'm there by myself because I love that city and I really want to make the most of my time there. And then the last thing on my summer list is a little high school reunion. A lot of my high school friends moved like to other countries and other cities, and a few of them are actually coming back at the same time in a few weeks, and so we're going to try to meet up, and I'm excited for that as well. So now that I have those like big overarching lists out of the way, I decided I should also make like a little list of things that I want to do weekly to give me a little bit of a routine, but also to make sure that I'm just like doing stuff and like keeping up with my hobbies and like making the most of my time since I don't have to be working right now. In fact, I can't be working right now. So this is my weekly list. The first thing on my weekly list is to read outside at least once a week during the summer. So reading has been a lifelong hobby of mine. I was like an absolute bookworm growing up, and then when I got into like undergrad and again with my master's, like I was way too busy with school and did not have the brain power either to be reading for fun. But I'm slowly trying to get back into my little novels and my little like nonfiction books and whatever. And in the summer specifically, one of my favorite things to do is to like slather my entire body in sunscreen, put on a little hat or sunglasses or like whatever, go to the park, go to the backyard, read outside in the blazing heat for like an hour or two. Love to do that. And so it's on my list to make sure I do it at least once a week because I know it's something I like to do. And the next thing like that is to bake or cook once a week. So when I lived alone, I cooked all my own food, and I loved to try different recipes and like bake and cook fun things when I had the time. But now that I'm living with my parents, food is really my mom's thing and I'm eating her delicious food. But since I do like to cook and bake, I still want to make sure that I'm baking or cooking at least once a week for the family. Thirdly, this won't be news to you if you are familiar with this channel or if you like take a peek at it right now, but like this is not the normal type of video that I like to make. I usually like get my little guitars on my violin and sing little covers and like produce songs and like write my own music and stuff. And again, because of grad school, I have not had the time to do that for a couple years now, but I really want to make the most of the fact that I'm in this house with all my instruments and the ability to kind of like sing and make noise without like worrying about messing up my roommate's work from home schedule or something. I would love to say that I'm gonna make one cover a week to post here, but I honestly don't even know what songs to cover anymore. So if you have any ideas, let me know, please. I need ideas. My guitar ability is kind of limited, but I will do my best. But yeah, regardless, I want to like work on music at least once a week because again, that's something I really want to be doing. Okay, so number 3 and 4 are just pretty obvious. So oh, that's number 4. Number 4 and 5 are pretty obvious. I want to firstly be working on or checking off one thing off of my improvement list and or my summer list every single week, of course. And then the next thing is that I want to be doing like some housekeeping and some cleaning and things around the house. I want my living space to be like impeccably clean maybe pick up some new techniques off of TikTok or something because I have the time, so why not? And then the next thing is actually kind of crazy of me. I want to go for a run at least twice a week. And the reason this is crazy is because growing up, I was not athletic. I was a little ballerina, but that was it. I hated to run. In fact, I had asthma, so I would get out of running for gym class sometimes. I'd be like, I cannot run. I will start coughing and wheezing. And they'd be like, oh no. And that was legitimate. I'm making it sound like I lied. I did not lie. It was true. But a few years ago, like 3 summers ago, I was in physiotherapy and my physiotherapist was like, hey, you should go on jogs. It'll be really good for your health. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I hate to run. But he convinced me. He was like, no, like just try it. Like, I know you like to go for walks, go for a long walk and then like intermittently do like little 30 seconds of jogging. You can run really slow. It'll be so good for you. And I was like, okay, like I trust you. I'll try it, but I'm not gonna like it. And then you know what? I did like it. I got really into it for some reason. And so for the past like 3 summers now, I've gone jogging, but this is the first year that I actually bought like proper running shoes and proper running shorts that like have a pocket that I can put my phone in that I'm really excited about. And the shoes are a game changer. So I definitely want to go for runs twice a week. Again, it's been really hot, so I haven't really been able to, but when it's not a heat wave, twice a week. And then another thing to do twice a week, working out. This shouldn't be that difficult for me, but it kind of is right now. So I always did work out. Again, I like to do dance. I picked up ballet again this past year during grad school, and I was like working out on the side because I wanted to like get higher extensions and like be stronger so I can like hold my balance better and whatnot. But then near the end of grad school, I somehow injured myself successively in like multiple different ways. Like I fell down a flight of stairs and bruised my butt, and then I dislocated my kneecap. And so like I had to stop working out. I literally couldn't. I had to recover first, but I don't have an excuse anymore. Like I'm all better. So maybe I should do that twice a week. That's not too much. In fact, that's like barely at all. So I think it's manageable. And then the last thing is kind of tentative. I put a question mark next to it. And that is to watch a movie once a week. I've always loved watching movies, and I especially love to write a stupid little letterbox review. Like, this is a good hobby of mine. But again, because of grad school, I did not have time to watch movies for a long time. Like, if I wanted to, because I was so busy, I literally had to split these movies into like 3 or 4 nights and watch like 20 to 30 minutes at a time, which is disgusting. So I just stopped doing it. And so I haven't watched anything in a while, and I would love to get back into it. But the reason it's tentative is that I don't really have anything specific I want to be watching right now, and I don't want it to feel like a chore. So I may or may not watch movies. So anyway, that's my weekly list. I think I want to make like little weekly vlogs showing how I'm keeping up with that, just because it would be fun to make that and put it together and like look back on. So maybe stay tuned for that, we'll see. But the gist of all these lists and this entire thing, or the thesis statement I should say, is that if you are living at home in your 20s, especially in your later 20s, and it's not what you wanted to be doing and you're like just not vibing with it too much, get over it. That was really harsh. Get over it. There's so much to be grateful for. This is like a little moment in your life that you will never get again. Take advantage of it. Think of what there is to be grateful for. Think of how much potential you have for the future, and there's nothing to worry about. You'll get there. So just enjoy what you have while you have it. Make the most of this little time that you have, and we'll make it through. So let's have a good summer. I'll see you soon, actually, because I want to take you to Montreal and to Olivia Dean. So I'll see you soon. And I'll also post some covers soon. Thank you for listening if you listen. I don't know why you did that, but I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.